Hey, I'm happy to share with you today quickly how I've helped my clients achieve over $1 billion in sales. We have multiple clients that have become millionaires, and I've served a third of the Fortune 50. So, how is all this possible? Today, I'm going to walk you through that process. Just to share with you exactly what's going on, along with I've worked with governments all over the world to help the food brands grow. It's not that it requires a super high IQ. I don't think of myself as necessarily super smart. I wasn't born to a rich family. I didn't go to Ivy League school. It isn't about did I achieve these things through technology. It's really basically down to some simple things. And in watching today, you might want to ask yourself, or before I even put this together, I thought, is this something that you can accomplish? Is it something you can do? Is it identifiable, repeatable, and duplicatable? The processes that I use. And I say yes. And it's a 6-step process. And I'm going to share that with you in today's call. You can apply this with your food business. You can apply this on the projects that you're working with. I call it my MMA SVQ as far as exactly what it is. And to share with you what that stands for, it's mentors, models, action, powered by strategy, vision, and curiosity, or your questions, actually. And so, again, the book we were reading, the book club was Think and Go Rich. What for me, I read that when I was about 16, the first time. And so that's what drove a lot of this. So within reading that book, I realized there was an opportunity for me with mentors. And within a year, I was actually working for a Fortune 500 CEO. It was approximately the 300 spot on the Fortune 500 list, but they were a Fortune 500 company, and I was working for the CEO. I did that for 2 summers. Then I went on, I knew I wanted to go into marketing and sales. I love brands and was fascinated and had the opportunity to work with Tom Little, who's one of the most celebrated awarded ad guys outside of New York at the time, hundreds of awards. He's now in the Advertising Hall of Fame. He actually worked for Coca-Cola. He worked for Budweiser. He actually named Mellow Yellow beverage for Coca-Cola, along with many other enterprises and programs. Then later on in school, I met Wally Amos, founder of Famous Amos. I went on to work with him, but it started with just meeting him. And so this is thinking about the mentors part of my MMA. So it's mentors, models, action. And so these folks, immediately I began thinking about and modeling my behavior around mentors. And so some of the mentors that influenced me absolutely was a Fortune 300 CEO. David Klein, another model. I met David Klein, and our relationship has gone for many years, and I learned so much about innovation and bringing a product to market, and also how he actually the model that he created to work in the candy industry to be so successful with Jelly Belly jelly beans. And thinking through this process and goal setting and working and thinking about mentors, I decided one day, it was kind of an unusual thing, but I wanted to put it to the test. I said, hey, I want to set a goal. I became really just began enjoying country music at the time and said, I want to meet Randy Travis. And so I used the system, used the processes of meeting and providing value to mentors. And I did that for Randy Travis. Within just a few months, I was actually on Randy Travis's tour bus, met him, got to go backstage and enjoy a concert. And it was an incredible experience. Mentors are so important. On the personal side, I became interested in photography. So Robert DeFrucia, he became my mentor in photography. It took me 4 months a time, and so I used kind of the same models. It was 4 months of effort before he would agree to help me, and just went through that process, almost like chasing a large client. And that it was I wanted to work with him, continued the process, asked him if what I could do. I offered to provide value, did provide value, and then he basically tutored me. Within 2 weeks, he changed everything about my photography, and just just incredible. I've had amazing results. I'm a prolific seascape photographer, and that has been on my personal side. That has been a big part of my life over the last decade or so as far as photography. Mentors have just been so important in what I've accomplished and also the vision of what's possible and thinking about what they've done and learning from them. I had no idea. I didn't really understand it was a process when I first began it. I thought it was all about personality, meeting people, which is important. But I began to understand the importance of relationships and process, initiating contact, thinking about providing mutual benefit and just leveraging the expertise. I know learning from the Fortune 500 CEO, how he leveraged other people's knowledge and utilized that in his work. And I did the same thing. It just goes on and on. I began to understand how important models were. And so, for instance, one of them would be Jay Abraham. One of the models that I utilize from Jay is there's only three ways to grow a business. You can either increase the size of the orders, get more orders from the same customers, or add customers to the system. And so I know when I'm working with a client, it's going to be one of those three ways that something happens. And so the way I did that is I utilized Jay's process. So I asked them to send me all their prior invoices, and thinking about Jay's model, all I did is I just went through their invoices and looked at where the largest orders were coming from, and I wanted to just duplicate that. What can I do to duplicate that? And actually, it was a whole new channel that we opened up. We built a database of all those customers in that channel and shared it with the sales reps. Another model that I use is called Pareto's principle. You can use this for thinking about your clients. You can use this for thinking about the time. You can use this for what to leverage in your food business as far as where the opportunities are. Even just on pricing, pricing alone, Pareto's principle, when you use it mathematically, there's things that you can do. So, not to go into a lot of detail how we did it, but real simple. I've taken a client, we had a client that was selling a product. This was a consumer product, so a CPG item that we were selling. They were selling for $39 when I first met them. Today, they're selling that item for $249 a unit. They sell around the world. They now have a co-packer and contract manufacturer on the product, and they're doing fantastic with that item. They're looking actually to sell sell the brand, sell the product now. They've been so successful with that, and that's applying Pareto's principle. Another one is the three E's. Just this is just a question of asking yourself three questions. For instance, on this, it tripled 300% my YouTube channel, the channel that you're watching, by asking myself the question, am I being effective? Do I have external verification? And then the third question, am I being evaluative versus being judgmental? And I call that the three E's. So I want to be effective. We want to have external verification and evaluative of our actions. And just asking ourselves that question can make you so much more effective. Another model that I've used successfully among many models that we use is the six principles of persuasion from Cialdini. And one of them that is so important, I always am looking at social proof. What are we doing here for social proof? How can we provide evidence that what we're doing to others is successful and work? Even sharing with you some of the projects we worked on, that's social proof that the models work, that the mentors work, the success that we've had in the market. Another person that's helped me so much as far as a mentor is Alan Weiss, but also the models. He has so many consulting models that I've used, from my presentation to the methods that I work with clients. Possibly would not be in consulting today if it weren't for Alan and the different models he used. John Colley created the 6-minute strategist method, and it's real simple. Is that you can take any subject or anything that you're looking at and divide it into six, and he has a hexagon. You can divide that topic into 6 areas, and you're going to cover almost everything that's important in that area. If you need to go deeper into that, then you can take each one of the areas. Then you can take each one of those 6 and discuss the 6 areas around that one chapter or that one module, and can grow and go. It can expand exponentially, however far out you can go. So I've actually created my own models. I actually added to it. I have the nine pillars. This has been so effective for helping my clients grow by millions of dollars in sales. It's real basic. we've taken, we have 3 areas that we work with. We've got the consumer, we've got the product itself, and then we have the retailer. And then on each one of those, we have 3 buckets of information that's necessary for buyers to purchase your item. And if you're this particular model is so effective for you in presenting into food buyers, in that this is what is successful. This is what buyers are looking for. If you leave any of this information out, the buyer is going to know it. They're not going to be able to do their job. They're going to need to get this information from you. You might as well present it to them in your presentation going forward, instead of them curious about it or not being successful. Even my book, if you got a copy of my book, my book is the 5 proven ingredients to scale food makers to millions. And this is the 5-step process that actually, it's a very, very basic, simple process, but it took me years to come up with that and to be able to provide that. Just like the nine pillars, that was a it took more than 20 years being in the food business before I saw and I fully understood that process. And so anyway, some of the takeaways on the action piece: you want to take action, lots of it. One of the things in adding those 50 to, it wasn't a home run with every effort. So I had to figure out early on, like, what's most effective, what's going to work with the distributors, what is it, what are their hot buttons. And so once I understood that well, I was able to add add the distributors very quickly. Just like with QVC television, the first item that we were able to get on QVC television took 4 years. Once we understood that, we were very effective at getting other products on QVC. And today we've had over 12 items, 12 brands on QVC television. So it's a matter of taking action. And when you have a model, it's so much more effective, particularly when it's based on, say, a mentor that's had that success beforehand. Strategy is so important. Strategy, and I can see good strategy when I understand the actions that you're planning take into account the consumer, the playing field, which are retailers, distributors, the market, and working through that to be successful, and to think about adapting and working with that market is so important. And adding the voice of the consumer, that's another piece. We want to add the voice of the consumer into what it is that you're doing in your strategy. So oftentimes, brands, leads, clients come to me, and so much of the work that I do is I've got to get the voice of the consumer into our strategy, into our action plans. And that's why I want external verification. I want consumers to share with me. I want us to capture that data and make sure that we include that in our branding, our design efforts, and going forward. This has been so successful. Just with Costco, with one project at Costco Wholesale, I've had more than 20 items that we've brought to market and commercialized for the club store channel. But just one project, when we introduced the voice of the consumer, now I had the data, I understood this, and we doubled the recipe. The recipe on the product, we've focused and changed that. We put the emphasis on what the consumer wanted, not the brand. The brand was thinking in a different direction. But when we brought in the voice of the consumer, when we brought in what the market was needed, that did over $100 million in sales with Costco. And that product has done exceptionally well, much more than $100 million in sales today. And so that gives you a little bit of idea of how important vision is in going forward. But all of this is driven by curiosity. What is it that can drive all of this and bring all this together and all of this to happen? It's questions. So you want to ask yourself questions. How can I be more effective? How can I be successful? How can I get external verification that what we're doing is going to be successful? How can I get the voice of the consumer? How can I apply that to the branding? And I've just continually done that. I know about 10 years ago, I was in working. I actually put together a field trip for Whole Foods buyers outside the country. We're visiting plantations. Part of that was to visit schools in rural areas outside the country, in third world countries. And I was all excited. I brought a big backpack full of candy and shared that with the class. But it really wasn't that rewarding or that exciting, that really that big a deal to me. I was like, why is that? Or, what was I doing? And then I became interested in helping other folks and expanding in this area. I was real curious about schools outside the world, and so I ended up working 2015. Ended up working with Amlin Ganguly in Calcutta, India, and we opened a catering food school. It's called Prasad. Also ended up school in Indonesia. We opened, and our goal is to open 100 schools. We've to date we've been involved in 4 schools, including with 2 in Indonesia, then 1 in Uganda, and we've got 94, 96 more that we want to do over the next 10 years. And so the process in all of this, and the reason we were able to do the schools is because of models that we had, and then also some other mentors as well. So I hope this talk today kind of answered the question of how my clients are able to see such fantastic success. What is it that I bring to the table? How is it that I'm able to bring so much value? And that's primarily through the mentors I've had, the models that I bring to bear with my client work. Not to mention, we didn't talk about my experience, but just the experience. This is our 27th year, been in the food business almost 40 years. I've worked with some of the largest brands in the world, most successful, and those paradigms, those models are what I bring to the projects at hand. Thank you very much. I appreciate you allowing me to share this with you. I hope this has been helpful. My book club asked me to share this information. I thought you might enjoy it as well. So have a great day. I wish you much success. If you have an innovative product, if you are interested in being successful in the U.S. food market, reach out to me. Jump on my schedule at timforrestmarkets.com. Would love to learn about your growth plans, and have a great day.